I'm Patrick Andrews.
I'm Catherine Andrews, and you're tuned in to Oneness Talk Radio.
One world,
one voice.
Expand your vision. Welcome to Spirit's Journey on Oneness Talk Radio with your hosts, Patrick and Catherine Andrews. Join us each week as we explore a wide range of metaphysical topics such as dreams, astrology, intuitive readings, and life purpose. You'll receive practical guidance so you can live your sweetest life. Learn more about what we do at intuitiveschool.com and connect with us on Facebook at Spirit's Journey Radio. Hello and welcome back to Spirit's Journey on OneNessTalkRadio.com. I'm your host, Patrick Andrews.
And I'm Catherine Andrews. Glad to be here.
And we have a special guest today. We have Daniel Hanneman, and Daniel and I go way back. We used to live up in Chicago for quite a few years, and we had a school up there called the School of Intuitive Arts and Sciences, and that has evolved into the intuitiveschool.com that we have now. And so we have more of a national and international reach with our classes. And Daniel had a spiritual entrepreneurs group up there that we were very active with at one point, and we went to the Center for Spiritual Evolution together, and we go way back. He developed a amazing energy healing technique, and he went on to create Academy for Invincible Healers. And so we're looking forward to having him on today to talk about some new things that he is getting into. So Daniel, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, welcome aboard, Daniel. We're looking forward to talking to you today.
I'm so excited, Dan, because you share a common interest, which is life purpose. And so I can't wait to hear your perspective on life purpose today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing and being a part of the show. So I'm grateful to be here.
Excellent. So what are some of the new things you're getting to? You're talking about sacred purpose now. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so forever I've, similar maybe to Catherine, I've really always been around looking at people and saying, hey, are you actually doing what you come here to do? And looking at like what people's really, what their life purpose is. What are you really meant to be doing? What is the thing that Source Spirit or God has brought you here for? So I really believe like all of us are born into an experience of our soul to fulfill something as a soul, and that we experience our desire to fulfill that deeper purpose not only in this lifetime, but through so many lifetimes, and that there's this deeper purpose that we're trying to fulfill through it all. And I could go really deep into it, but ultimately, the sacred purpose really has to do with us understanding that we are on this journey. We're on this journey. We're trying to come back into that deeper radiance and wholeness while we're having fun, experiencing all these wonderful lifetimes when we've been kings and queens or rich or in power and then out of power and then slaves and then, abused and then, whatever, warriors on the field and like all these different roles we play through our lifetimes. And then to come back to wake up and to realize we are truly in this matrix, this dream, but yet it's a very meaningful thing. I think that's one of the dangers of looking at it just as a matrix. People start thinking about video games where people are shooting things. So like, boom, okay, let's shoot up everything, doesn't matter. But yeah, there's no real meaning to it. But like, we're all called to come back into wholeness. And I know that from doing thousands of energy scans on people through the years and, training, hundreds of people that do scans as well. And, everybody has experienced usually always a big contrast between their different lifetimes. And this all has to do with your sacred purpose, and that, again, we're all gathering all these different strings of experience through all our lifetimes. And then for this lifetime, what that means is like we have the opportunity to come back into wholeness, because most of the people that I'm working with are not like newbie souls. They're not like, oh, it's the first lifetime. We've been around a pretty long time, and and as a collective, we're looking to come back into that wholeness and wellness that we are. So it has to do with spiritually awakening, life purpose, how that relates to that thing we're here to do, the way we're here to service in the world is a pointer into our deeper purpose. So the way we serve in the world is a way of connecting with those fragments of energy that we're here to work with, whether, in this case, I don't know if most of your listeners are coaches and healers and things like that, but whatever they may be or what other sorts of things they're up to, but whatever we're here to fulfill, those are the things that are here to help bring us that sense of wholeness and wellness into bringing ourselves, what I say, back home into who we really are. So it's really life purpose is really a pointer into that ultimately. A lot of times we make it the crucible of like everything, and yet it's one of the primary pointers into our deeper purpose. A lot of times people describe life purpose as our outer purpose. It's another way of looking at the thing we're here to do to bring forth into the world. So my purpose is to, awaken souls and bring them back home ultimately, even though I do it through reaching healer leader types, transformational leaders that want to be world changers, that are already that in many cases too, and want to do it from their divine download from the awakened place and doing it the deepest thing they've come here to do, and finally do that and enjoy huge love and abundance and goodness in their lives from that place. That's their journey, all part of their journey home. And it's not, rather than, the old style of doing life purpose and get after it and, do work a million hours and kill yourself. And, for most of the people I work with, usually what the people are finding more, right, in this society is getting back into more of that flow state, like getting into that natural state that we live in, not this insanity that we've created. And from that place, people find that it's like a lot of times it's just much more about an act of surrender than it is about, gearing up our minds and our mental thoughts to do something. It's more letting the natural flow of Source God to line things up. And Source is, comes through us in this dimension as steel and fire, and along with the wind and the air elements and water and all that stuff. But like it can show up in many different forms. So it's all good. We're meant to embrace all of it, but we're also meant to allow ourselves to come back into original wholeness and wellness, and to bring the fragments, like the concepts, the judgments, the ideas of who we are, the separation energy, integrate those aspects into our being so we can really live our deeper divine sacred purpose, to realize we are whole and sacred. What we're really missing a lot of in the world today is that space of sacredness. There's so much there's busyness and noise, and there's not that space for the sacred energy so much. People are waking up on one level, another level, there's more noise than ever, right? So it's a very interesting time, but all of us are being asked to wake up to our deeper nature. We see that through the internet and through all the incredible stuff going on in the world with just, I was here in the US with just political energy, for example, but so many different things. But like all these things are just parts we're meant to embrace, to wake up to who we really are. And then from that place, then we get to be free. We get to be free spiritually, psychologically, and otherwise. Not that we don't continue to enjoy a human experience of contrast of energies. We do continue to have that, but we get to experience more of the trueness of who we are, more of that from that place we call that stillness. So in this noisy world, we are really being shooken to wake up. And so to come back into that place of wholeness and wellness and to embrace who we really are.
So Dan, I wanted to ask you a little about this idea of getting back into the flow. Do you have any suggestions for the audience in terms of exercises or things they can do to get into that flow? Because I know I can lose it myself sometimes in this busy world.
Isn't it easy to lose?
What are some
There it
things
is. Now it's gone, right? Yeah. I was so flowy a minute ago until someone told me XYZ, right? So, all right. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to come in and out of those energies, no doubt about it. That's just a universal experience. And so when we are experiencing flow, that's great. Our life is easy. It's filled with so much joy. When we get out of the sense of that flow, the first thing to do is start noticing if you're slipping out of your flow when you're in the flow. Like usually when we back up and we review, like when we get really contracted or out of flow, it's like it was already coming. We already can see, like when we think about like, oh my God, it started with that one thing and then the next thing. And it's usually not always just like one big thing. So that's another thing, is just kind of watching things and just really embracing each thing that comes up in each moment as much as possible. Like I just be transparent, like, right. I had like 2-3 different contracted things come up this morning before I got on the show, like kind of significant things. And I'm like, whoa, right? So the best I can do is just embrace those things as fast as possible. What you want to do is to take the time to feel that energy in your body, to kind of feel that peace, to even give it presence like I just did right now. That deepens that presence automatically. Me just even talking about it, like, oh, wow, that was wild. Okay, but we're good now. All right. And so from those places, then we can see the blessings. The huge contracted moment came up this morning. Team members are leaving, from our VA team, and it's like, oh wow, chaos. Like, we have to deal with this, and like, but instantly, the minute I heard about it, because of the mindset and energy I've cultivated, at the same time, I'm like, no, this is a huge opportunity, dude. This is God's. This is like God wanting to experience something greater through me. Automatically have that mindset, have that understanding, because I don't believe it can be any other way. It has to be that. And the only way we experience it otherwise is when we start putting our own opinions on it. Oh, I think it means this. I think this life's so hard. And like, that's always where we lose the flow, is because we start assuming something could ever really go wrong in a truer, deeper sense. Nothing could ever go wrong. But when we start feeling that, we have to get present with what's going on, because a lot of times those things are trying to tell us something, like, oh, well, they should have given us more notice or whatever. Is that true? Maybe it's better they give you less notice, right? So like always looking at like, how could just the opposite be true? Usually, without getting in a deep class here on this, like, always looking at like how the opposite of what your contracted voice is saying could be true. Like, oh, I think it means just this disastrous thing. Oh, I'm losing my finances. It must mean I'm a failure. Okay, what if it means just the opposite? That you're actually getting ready to experience massive financial growth. Why couldn't it be just as true? And you don't know. You may as well pick the thing that would bring you a greater sense of life, life force. What's more true? What seems more true? We never want the things that sound more negative to be true. So getting back in the flow means when you're feeling contracted, stop, observe what's going on internally with yourself. There's many techniques, but you can listen to the energy. You can ask the energy, like let it have a voice. Like, what are you trying to tell me? Intuitively, let it speak to you. And then what it's trying to tell you. There's ways that I work with people and really getting that clear for people that have a hard time kind of navigating that. Or you can just really let yourself feel a feeling full out. Like, I'm really angry right now. Okay, feel it like 1,000%. Wow, it disappeared. What do you know? It's where we're not resisting it anymore, but we're embracing all of the energy, we're embracing everything in life. That's what really creates amazing flow. And we have to sometimes, we just keep riding the contraction train and being out of flow train, or just keep pushing and fighting things. And then that's when we stay out of flow. We have to embrace everything.
I love that. It's so simple. It's just a shift in perception, which not always easy, but really it is simple. So thanks for sharing that, Dan. I had something this morning that happened, and just from what you said, I'm shifting the perspective on it.
So awesome. When you're talking about choosing the better option, or you're choosing, instead of looking at it as my finances are contracting, that you're looking at it in terms of that I'm getting ready to explode into a whole new era of financial prosperity. So we've been talking a lot about the power of a new thought here in the past on the show. And so would you say that really comes down to making a choice?
Mm-hmm. In a sense, yeah. And it's also, I mean, that's one level. That's one way of doing it. And it's at the deepest level, really, it's trusting that everything is happening exactly the way it's meant to, and it's all glorious. It's really coming from that place. And of course, we're not going to feel that way about it all the time. And like, oh yeah, right, this is glorious. Give me a break, right? There's so many things in life that'd be easy to say, no, that couldn't be possibly true. But when we're able to have enough time and space from any situation, we can see anything as a blessing, right? Any of us can. Any of us. Any of us are capable of seeing anything as a blessing with time and space. But we actually don't really need that much time and space as we give ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how, wait a minute, a year from now, you're going to think this is the greatest thing ever, or 5 years or 10 years. Well, we can collapse that timeline. We don't have to wait to 5 or 10 years, because the faster we embrace it, the faster we give thanks for it, the faster we're able to move through that. So we do have a choice in that regard. And it's a matter of just allowing ourselves to, yes, have a mindset around it. And the mindset has to do with understanding this was meant for my highest good. If something crazy is happening, it means I'm not awake to something. God's trying to get my attention is one way I look at it. Like, God's trying to get my attention. Oh, there's sparks happening. There's a fire over there. Like, whoa, okay. Why did that fire get created? What are the, metaphysical reasons? We might look at it that way. Like, what is this trying to show me? Wow, fire. Maybe I'm supposed to embrace more fire in my life. I'm just Donald Trump guys driving me nuts. What part of Donald Trump could I embrace? Oh my God, embrace Donald Trump. Are you crazy? Yeah, I'm saying embrace Donald Trump. If he's driving you nuts, he's your master teacher. That's a universal spiritual truth. There are no exceptions, period. What do you need to embrace? What do you need to embrace? The people that you're having the biggest challenges with in the world, in your life, what are you supposed to embrace here? Because whatever it is, once you make peace with it, you won't be a slave to your conditioning. No one wants to be a slave, right? You'll be a slave to your conditioning. Every time that stuff is working you up, you're just like a puppet on a string. And unfortunately, yes, there are people in the world that are utilizing that to their benefit, right? Oh, we'll pull this card out. That'll get them all worked up. We can do whatever we want with them from there. You guys are being played. We're all being played. And those games aren't working. People are waking up. They're starting to realize that they're being controlled. They're still being controlled a lot of times, but they're starting to understand they're being controlled at least. They're starting to wake up. So I don't know what your question was anymore, but it ignites a lot of passion in me, because these things are huge in a collective, not only individual awakening, but our collective awakening. So I really feel we are in that place where we can either be, brought back into that wholeness and that original wellness that we really are. Or, it's possible we're not going to make it as a species here on this planet. So we really have kind of a dramatic choice. I really think we are at the end of days in that regard, in my opinion. So we have a big choice.
So Dan, I wanted to ask a question about the idea of we're being played. And would you say that actually that's a form of victimhood when we allow somebody to push our buttons, that we're actually giving up our power, saying, oh my gosh, you're making me react? And hence, is that a form of victimhood?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You start to believe that you're not, this is the Oneness Network, right? Right? I believe we're on the Oneness.
Right, onenesstalkradio.com.
Right. This is about remembering that whatever is happening in the world or in your personal life, again, people don't like to hear it. It has to do with you. You're looking at a mirror. You're totally looking at a mirror. So, and there is no guilt to it. Here's what sticks people sometimes too. Oh, I created this. I'm so that just shows what a mess I am. And that's another trick, and then you just keep creating, feeling separate from source. No, you embrace everything comes up. You realize it's amazing and it's perfect. The victim mentality is, oh, I'm guilty for that. Now, how do I fix myself? That's still almost like a victim mentality. It's like, no, you have to have an empowered mentality of like, this is good. At some level, this is good. This is amazing. These are amazing opportunities. What an amazing experience of life. This stuff is deep. This is not what our conditioning would tell us at all. It would tell us just the opposite. It would say, this guy's nuts, okay? Right? So they think I'm totally insane. The truth is, it really is. And so no matter what's going on in the world, whatever it shows up, the faster we collapse the time and space, because we know with time and space we can heal all wounds. It's like, well, collapse the time and space, be grateful, be present, be in all love with it now. And the more we collapse the time and space with everything, we just fully present in every moment, you know what happens then. These things don't even need to happen. So everything is simply calling us to be present. That's all. Just asking us to drop into the here and now more with life and with whatever's showing up. That's all.
You were talking about people waking up, and I know that more and more there are people waking up and realizing that there's more to our physical life than just what's happening right in front of us, that there is this inner life that's happening too. But I know that a lot of our listeners, there may be many of them out there who are still trying to work that out and figure out what the inner life is versus the outer life. When we talk about purpose, a lot of times people may think about, well, I'm working because I want to support my family. That's my purpose. That's your outer purpose. And when we use the term sacred, I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out what that means. So how would you say that your outer purpose supports or relates to your inner purpose in living that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I touched on a little bit already, but yeah, absolutely want to talk about that. So again, the distinction even of outer versus inner, it's just, again, we use all these words to try to talk about one thing, right? So we got to talk about something, right? So I try to understand what's going on here. But, so with outer purpose is for me, the way I look at outer purpose is that thing that we're here to serve. What are we here to serve? So we're here to serve the environment, the animal life, or the people in the world, so there's many things we're here to do, okay? But there's like that primary focus you have that we call our life's work, our life purpose. That's our purpose. So it's the thing you're here to do. So for me, again, it's for me to help healer types to stand up in their power and their brilliance and wake up themselves and bring their stuff out into the world. And then ultimately it's around waking everybody up, helping everybody wake up to their deeper purpose, inner and outer, and all those sorts of things. So those are all aspects of my life purpose. So for different people, there'll be different things. Maybe someone's life purpose is to bring wholeness and wellness to people physically, through energy healing or something. I'm just making something up. So let's say that's their primary thing. And maybe that life purpose could evolve over time, right? So it's possible it will evolve, it'll have steps and stages, all that sort of thing. But maybe that, if that's what it is right now, if that's the thing, if that's the mandate right now, and you're working in a job at McDonald's or something, you are not going to be happy. You're going to be suffering. So, and when you're in that place, as it relates to inner purpose, which is how you are in connection with being present and being in the now and being aligned and being in the flow and waking up and being spiritually enlightened, all those kinds of things we talk about. Being that's the inner purpose. It's that awakened state that we talk about. It's going to be, you could be awake, you could be totally awake and enlightened, so to speak, working at McDonald's, but only if that's really connected to your outer purpose. Chances are you're not going to be as awake at McDonald's as when you're doing your purpose, your outer purpose. So outer purpose connects to the inner purpose in that it helps you to create that alignment with your soul, with source, ultimately as well, to be in that place where the divine flow of source through you is just is increasingly. There's this deeper flow, and then as we're open up and source is like, wow, you're handling that well, we may be called to a higher purpose, next calling of our purpose, which is it's always with the same sort of underlying intent. Our souls all have a primary underlying intent, has been what I've noticed so far, till it's proven otherwise. But like I've always seen that, but sometimes we go through different stages. So like you guys we're with the intuitive school. Now you guys are, doing a variety of new things. So it's like we keep being called to these next levels of our purpose. And so those are our outer purpose. And those are all part of like the outer journey of the inner journey of waking up and bringing wholeness and wellness to ourselves. So the things that we're helping with in the world help literally to awaken us on the inner level. So that's about as concise as I can make that relationship.
Wow, Daniel. Well, we have a lot of great stuff here. I feel like we're just getting started with our conversation, but it looks like we are approaching the bottom of the hour. So we'll continue this conversation. In the meantime, is there somewhere where you would like for people to go to learn more about you?
Yes, if they'd like to learn more about what I'm talking about and dive in a little bit deeper, they can go to yoursacredpurpose.com, and we have the ability for you to get more information through a live or recorded call, whatever may be the case. When people go there, depending on the time that they go there, they can go ahead and learn more.
Awesome. And of course, you can learn more about what Catherine and I do at intuitiveschool.com. And as always, we would love for you to participate in the discussion with us. So please check in with us at Facebook at Spirits Journey Radio.
All right, folks, we've got a couple big announcements, and the first one is we are going syndicated. As of December 1st, we are going live as well. So that means our time frame will change. It's going to be on Saturdays live. We're not quite sure the hour yet, but that will be forthcoming. We're also going to be making it available for people to call in so we can do a lot of fun stuff with our audience, like dream interpretation, astrological forecasting, and much more. So that does mean, however, that our Spanish version of the show will be ending. Our last show, unfortunately, was last week in Spanish, and so we just need to focus now on a full hour in English with our new syndicated show. So we are so excited to share that news with you. It's going to be bigger and better than what you've been listening to now because you have us for a full hour in English. We've got a huge lineup of exciting guests coming on in 2019 to share their wisdom and experience with you.
All right, so stay with us after the break, and we are going to be continuing on with Dan Hanneman for the second half of the show in our first full hour of English.
Hi, I'm Alan.
And I'm Sandra.
Together, we host Twin Flame Divine Fire every Sunday morning from 10 to noon Pacific.
Our journey started with the discovery that we were twin flames, but it has become much, much more than that.
It is said that there are many paths to ascend the mountain, and that's what we offer you every week. We featured spiritual teachers, authors, and musicians.
We have also brought you everyday people that have come to the realization that life isn't quite what it appears to be.
We know deep within ourselves that we've chosen to be on this planet at this time to assist humanity to remember who we truly are.
No matter where you are on this journey, it's our desire to give you the tools to assist in your self-ascension with informative guests and a lot of laughter.
So join Sandra and me each and every Sunday morning, 10 to noon Pacific, on Twin Flame Divine Fire, right here on Oneness Talk Radio. This is a Oneness Moment with Jess Juntinen on Oneness Talk Radio. Expand your vision.
This is a meditation connecting to the heart. If you're in a place that is safe to do so, allow yourself to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, and just begin by following your breath in and out, and just noticing your breath. And as you do, become conscious of what it feels like as it enters the lungs and leaves the lungs. Feeling it as a beautiful crystalline light that you're inhaling it through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And feel this crystalline light that you're inhaling, traveling and circling up into the top of your crown of your head, down into your belly and filling your lungs, and exhaling out into the world. And with its crystalline light, begin to feel a beautiful energy of love entering, filling you, and leaving you. You are a vessel, and you are becoming this energy of love as it fills you. and it travels on and touches each and every being on the planet, and you are feeling this incredible love for all beings as you follow your breath in and out, in and out, and you come into the center of your heart. In the center of your heart, you feel this beautiful, radiant blue jewel, a blue jewel that is shining. Feel the energy of it, see it in your mind's eye, experience it in whatever way you want to, in any way that feels right. You might just have a knowing, you might have a feeling, you might have a sense of sight or sound. But know that there's this beautiful blue jewel in the center of your heart, and you're connecting to it now. And you breathe and feel this beautiful balance coming in and around you, connecting to your breath and connecting to your heart. Connecting these two energies connects you to the eternal field of the universe, the field of the soul, the field of your divine nature, your cosmic connection. And feel this jewel in the center of your heart, this balance and harmony, and you feel around you these harmonic tones, and they swirl around you. And you notice and feel yourself as in a temple. And in this temple, you gaze about you and feel through the top of the roof where there's an opening, all of this beautiful energy coming down and filling this temple and filling you. It's a beautiful golden energy. Feel this filling you up. Feel this sustaining you. Feel this as a pulse, all of your cells vibrating, all of your being coated in this beautiful golden light. Anything dissolving or sloughing off that doesn't serve, and just feeling this divine vibration and that connectedness to the blue jewel in the center of your heart. And this blue jewel is emanating a beautiful light that connects with the golden light all around, and you are infused and filled and supported as you go about the rest of your day, taking a few more mindful breaths, feeling your beautiful body here and bringing a smile to your face, telling yourself thank you for taking this moment to connect to the blue jewel in the peaceful center of your heart. Namaste.
Learn more about Jess Juntonen at her host page right here at onenesstalkradio.com.
Let's continue talking about this idea of sacred purpose. Now, as you know, I approach life purpose from a little different perspective. I use tools like astrology, numerology, past life readings. But I know you approach helping people find their purpose in a little different way. So I wonder if you could share the journey that you guide people through to connect with their sacred purpose.
A lot of it, I do have a program called Clear Your Own Energy program, and within it, it has this very specific way of identifying, what is your life purpose, for example. It's got the actions you're supposed to, it's all in one statement. Like, I'm here to teach and to write and do this and that for this exact purpose. And it's great, I've got my own, and I haven't even looked at it in years, to be honest. But I know, like, it was around having people answer their soul's calling and do so with much love and compassion for all, which is something really deep for me. That's a big part of my purpose, is making sure that, again, especially in this environment, I feel like my purpose is really raising up to the roof. They see so much lack of love and compassion with the political sphere here in the U.S. It's like, okay, where's the love and compassion, people, from both sides? So it's like we have to wake up. And my point is around identifying purposes. We can really nail it. Like, I've got my own hands read, not by you, but by others. And I've done other things identifying my life purpose. And they're all great, but the thing is, it's like, and we can even get down to a statement and all that stuff. But the thing is your life purpose, and then I'll talk about it as it relates to sacred purpose. Your life purpose is something that it's nice. I do like to have people understand by being guided, doing, like, asking your guides, what's my purpose? Like that, like the different ways to get to it is like to ask your guides, and then to write down what you're getting, and then through all the information we get, we can use that and put it into a process where we can drop it right into a statement. So it's like, oh, they keep telling me I'm meant to write and speak and this and that. So there you get that part, the actions part. And then what are you here to fulfill? Okay, I'm here to do these things, whatever it is. How is it coming through? What is your guidance? So mostly it's been very intuitive, the sort of processes that I take people through. And then there's also, there's a number of things, but there's also what's called the passion test. I like to use the passion test as another way of identifying more around that life purpose. You identify all your passions, the things that are most deep and meaningful for you. When my life is ideal, I am, and then we fill in the blank. And then as we come through all that, you'll see a number of things. Sometimes people want more money and health and this and that. And then, but also what's in there is always, almost always is like what people's life work is. Like it's in there, it's embedded in there. So there's like many tools we can use, as you know so well, Catherine, to understand like what it is. But what really matters is to just continue to have the direction. And then for those that I help, particularly that are in business, usually as coaches and healers and trainers maybe, and those sorts of people, is to translate that into specifically what you're here to serve. So if you're here to do a specific sort of job in the world, maybe you're here to bring healing through doing surgery, but you're doing intuitive surgery or something like, you do it in some kind of spiritual way, because this is the network, right? So we're wanting to get more connected. So whatever it is, that'll reveal itself, and maybe that's all the detail you need. For those of us who have business, we want to get it very precise, the exact woundings. We call our tribe. We want to understand our tribe and the woundings. We help them to heal, and if we're coach healers, so then we would want to scale that into a business. Okay, therefore, what information do I need to share in the world? Where do I share the information? Do we do it on a radio show like this, or webinars, or stages, this or that? And we scale it all the way down to our offerings, and so many things. You chunk it all the way down so you get everything lined up, so your life's work can work. It can work on every level, including financially. So we get all that lined up. That's all part of what I help with. So so when we say, how do we get to what the life purpose is, there's many tools that give you that baseline and keep sharpening and sharpening and sharpening your clarity. But I think, I would imagine you both would agree, your life purpose is an ongoing listening. It's not something that's just like everything else. It's not a static thing. People want a static thing. Oh, I got my life purpose. Or, oh, the world's awakened now. We're done. People want an endpoint. It's not really like that. It's a dynamic thing that we're constantly tuning into, and life keeps showing us what our purpose is, and then those are the things we're meant to embrace, and that all contributes to we're talking about with your sacred purpose, which is that deeper inner awakening that's happening by living that life purpose, by taking those steps, by being willing to take those steps and doing what you come here to do. By you doing that, it's lining you up with that deeper spiritual awakening as well at the same time.
That's a great point, because I know when I taught a lot of students, they would say, well, now that I fulfill my life purpose, does that mean I'm going to die? I used to laugh because some people were actually afraid of fulfilling their purpose because they thought that would be the end. And so I explained that it's an energetic thing, and there is no limit to how energy and gifts and talents can be shared, so that you never really fulfill it or reach it, because the potential's unlimited. So that's how I answered that to some students.
Right, exactly. I do believe at some point our souls go back home, so to speak, is my own personal take on it. But everybody can have their own take, that's fine. But that's my own personal take on it. Who knows? But I feel we do complete our soul's journey at some point. But you're right, a lot of times, there's no need to be afraid of that either. That's all part of that surrender energy we're supposed to get into. And usually what's true with that is you haven't fulfilled your life purpose in its totality, so to speak. There are next steps. There's an evolution of your life purpose. And in that regard, I totally agree with you. There's so much more for you to do. When we hit that sense of oh, I've already done it, I'm not done. Well, what's next? You want to constantly be asking what's next, because if you're still here and breathing, chances are there's something else for you. You haven't done it all yet. There's something else. You just don't know what it is yet.
I see the understanding of the life purpose is really the beginning in many ways, whether we stay here to fulfill that or move on somewhere else. I think that it's really just a journey, whether we're here or there. So it all really comes down to understanding. And we talk a lot in metaphysics about dichotomy, that sometimes we see the opposites appearing. And you talked a little bit about the political climate currently in our country, and you can see that in other ways. It seems like in a lot of ways there are more and more people becoming intolerant of other people's ideas, even though at the same time we can look around and see a lot of people waking up to a deeper spiritual truth. So there is sort of this dichotomy. So with everything going on, it seems like it's more important than ever for people to really understand their inner purpose, their sacred purpose, as you're describing it. How would you see that?
Yeah, exactly, precisely. One of the things I'm called to do is when people, again, they go. Most of my friends and colleagues are in that reactive kind of place. Now, hopefully, we can shift that, but most of, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the majority of them are in reactivity to Donald Trump. They are the Democratic type of people, and they're in reactivity to Donald Trump. And I keep saying he's a great awakener. He's a great gift, just like Obama was a great gift. Every president's been a great gift. Oh, then all the conspiracy theories always distract us too, because that isn't helping. Oh, but they've been placed there, and this is the conspiracy of the day. It doesn't matter. Even if it were true, that doesn't matter. That's not even the deepest truth of why they're in the office. They're just concepts. So we have to pierce through that. We have to realize there's a sacred purpose to why they are in those positions, whether it's a CEO or the president or the senators or the congressmen or the judges or whatever. It's all for divine right order. There is a divine right order. There's an evolution of consciousness that is just happening, period. I said we have choice. And at the same time, at some levels, we don't have a choice. There is a momentum going on in the collective consciousness that you just can't stop. You can't say, well, let's go back to the Stone Age. I want to live back there now. I don't know. You might be able to pull it off. We're pretty invincible sometimes. But the chances are that's not going to happen. Things are progressing along a certain trajectory. There is a certain level of pre-programming. There are different ways things can go. But there is a trajectory is what I'm trying to say, of the energy and the way it's going, and then we have a chance to experience it in all different ways. And one scene, one level of reality, we might go this way. Another one, we go another way. But there's a sacred purpose to all of it, in whatever way you want to look at it. We're meant to get present deeply with what's going on. That's the bottom line always. And then from that place, we can experience our wholeness. We can experience all the good stuff we always say we want to experience in life, whatever it is. Relationships, health, finances, career, purpose, outer purpose stuff, whatever it is, we can experience all of that. But we're afraid. We think we have to. I think what's happening right now too is that, there's so many things we've been asleep to, numbing out, right? Not looking at too deeply. We've been numbing out, not looking too deeply at certain things. And so the problem with that has been, now that we're waking up to it, it's like waking up from a nightmare. And it's like, wait a minute, what? All these things have been going on, and I gotta fight it, and we don't realize, no, okay, all right, now you're waking up. No, okay, breathe. Okay, it's like a child waking from a nightmare. It's like, oh, calm down. It's all right. It's, what's coming up for you? All right, let's take a look. It's all right. You're still whole. You're still well. Everything's good. And then when you do that, then again, we have a chance to really deeply wake up from what's going on and start to see life more as it really is, rather than what we imagined it was, all the concepts.
Now, Daniel, I remember when we were talking about this sometime before, you were talking about 4 pillars to living your sacred purpose. Would you mind sharing those with our listeners?
Absolutely. So there's 4 different ones I like to talk about as it relates to your sacred purpose. So the first one is around, being present, being in that clear state, or another way of putting it is being in a higher vibrational energy. So the first pillar is all around being in that, I'll just say, higher vibrational energy ultimately. Because if you're being present, you're in higher vibrational energy. You're in that coherent energy. So being in that higher vibrational energy. So you want to create that. So when you start off your day, that's why so many of the motivational and spiritual people talk about get up, kiss the ground, and all that kind of stuff. I don't go that far, but getting up and having gratitude for your life, embracing the day, and creating being in an amazing energy, being committed to taking care of your vibration, taking, as I say, 1,000% responsibility for your vibration. Don't say it's anything else ever. No, because anyone else put in that situation may react differently, right? Any situation you could think of, give me any single one. There's a person on this planet that may react entirely differently and in a higher vibrational within a higher vibrational nature, right? So instead of like, oh, you just murdered my brother, I feel all these emotions, all these things, which is fine. Whatever you feel is fine. It's all good. But someone else might be like, it's a dramatic one, but let's say something bad, your car crashes. Oh, great, I get to have a new one, right? Let's go to something that's easier to get ourselves around. Like, oh, good. I've been asking for a new car. I guess this was exactly right for me, right? So it's like being in a higher vibrational nature where you can see a more positive, more uplifting, and really, I feel, a deeper truth to a scenario. Because there's a reason why we suffer from the lower vibrational energy, in my opinion. And that is that it's not really deeply true. The lower vibrational stuff, oh, I'm at fault, they're at fault, all that lower vibrational stuff feels bad because it's not true. When it's true, our physiology reflects that. So the first thing is getting a higher vibration. When we're in that energy, things just go up. You feel amazing, which is what everybody's looking for. Number one, whatever they want in their life, they want to feel amazing, right? That's always what people really want. So from that place, then, the second pillar has to do with intuition. So when you're in a great energy, I've noticed that for most people, by and large, can tune into the flow of life and energy and intuition much more easily. So when you tapped into that intuitive flow, now it's like it's just easy to know what's next. It's easy to know what's next. And when you're lining up your intents, right? When you're lining up your intents and they're coming through the intuitive realm, you'll know what's really true for you. So when you're in that energy, it connects to that intuition. A lot of times people, okay, well, I want to make $1 million. And it comes strictly from their brain, their head, like, okay, I want to do this thing. And I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I don't think that's the highest evolved way for us to approach things. It's okay, like everything else, but like the most highest evolved way is to get into what does God want for my life? It's kind of sounds like very like mainstream Christianity. What does God want for my life? I think it's a very enlightened approach, though. What does God want for my life? And so, like, to wake up to that, like, what is it? What is it? I don't care what I want. What does God want for me? Because I know that's amazing. That's what the thing I'm supposed to be about. So we want to get into that, and from that place, things will work out so much better. And then from that place, whatever we're given through our intuition to be about or to do, it's like then we take rapid and massive action on it. Rapid and massive action. Maybe you're not supposed to take the step that you get a download about instantly. Well, maybe you better write it down, right? You take an instant action right away. You get on it in some way. Or you take that action right away. Oh, it's time to write my book. Sit down. Next thing you know, you got 200 pages done all one night. Who knows? And when you're in amazing energy, incredible things can be produced. So taking that massive action on the thing that comes through. And, for myself, I know that as I maintain a higher vibrational nature, I follow my intuition. I take rapid action on what I know to be true when those things come in. You see, if things aren't coming in and I have no clarity of what's supposed to be going on, maybe it's telling me to take a break, right? Take a break, maybe go for a walk today, or, to go on a day trip somewhere. Maybe that's what I'm guided to do. So you're taking rapid action on that. But as it relates to my purpose, I'm not taking that rapid action until the timing is right. You can take all the right actions in the world. If you don't do it at the right time, it could be disastrous. So you want to take it massive action from that aligned place and get on top of that. Next thing is what I call integration, the fourth pillar. Because no matter how much great energy and how many great things you do, once you get into that massive action, you really like, oh, this is it. I'm going. I'm going to live my dream or whatever. It's like, usually, like for most people, like things don't turn out great right away. Like things start blowing up in your face. oh, my finances are going crazy, or your health goes crazy, or something goes crazy. And whatever happens, it's exactly right for you. It's like whatever happens is exactly right for you. Most people take it as a signal they're on the wrong path. This is God showing me I'm on the wrong path. This thing happened. A bad thing happened. This must not be for me. It's the opposite. You're supposed to get deeply present with it, embrace it, learn what you're meant to learn from it. It was there already. It's like when the body is in a state of disease and then the symptoms come later. It was already in a state of disease, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm not feeling good, but it was already in a state of disease. The symptoms come later. It's the same thing when we start going, hey, I want to get well now. I've been in a state of not wellness all this time. I'm taking massive action. I'm going down this path, living my purpose, living my sacred purpose. And all of a sudden, like, things show, oh my God, this is going on. It was there all along. Now you need to clean it up. And it might show up as like you got in a car accident. Well, what created that car accident was already in your energy, was already in your consciousness, needed to be cleaned up. You need to get that energy integrated. And so it's the enlightened presence of like, okay, again, turning those statements around. I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm doing. I got in a car accident. How could I have done something so stupid, run in that car? Okay, it just means maybe get more present. Maybe something very simple like, you're ready to move in a more speedy, efficient way in your life with your life purpose. And all of a sudden now you're seeing these wrecks in your life. Maybe you need to slow down a little bit. Maybe it's not about going fast for you. There's lots of different things. That could be a whole program in itself. But like, you have to learn the lessons. I think it's people understand that. You have to learn the lessons of what's happening. What is it trying to tell you? And then from that place, then you're going to feel contracted momentarily, but then you can get right back into that high vibration and start partying again. The whole thing could be a party, but like, so anyway, I use these 4 pillars to kind of orient people to how to do it in, how to live your purpose and have great results from this deeper, surrendered, awakened state. That's not passive at all. It requires a lot of action ultimately, but the right kind of action, and taking amazing care of yourself and being completely 1,000% responsible for your vibration entirely.
I love those 4 pillars, Dan, and I wanted to elaborate a little bit on the pillar about higher vibrational energy. So I've heard a lot of people saying it really makes a difference who they surround themselves with in terms of their vibration. Of course, we all know the story. You're in a great mood and you go to a party and everybody's depressed, and then all of a sudden you leave the party depressed. So I wondered if you could speak a little about what you think in terms of who we surround ourselves with, as well as the foods we eat, because we all know that obviously a fresh pineapple just picked has a higher vibration than some canned beans that have been sitting on the shelf for a year. So if you could speak to those 2 things and anything else that the listeners could do to raise their energy.
Yes, absolutely. In raising your energy, that's exactly right. You have to surround yourself with more and more high vibrational people. I've created a membership community, for example, your Sacred Purpose Playground, where we're creating that kind of energy momentum all the time. We're doing, investigating things and all that sort of thing in terms of your purpose and all that. But it all starts with we're living these 4 pillars. So whatever kind of communities, or like coming to this radio station, just listening to this is amazing. I mean, it's like you want to take in the good energy and you want to surround yourself with that energy. So if you have family members, friends, you have, whatever, coworkers or partners or people in your business, if they're dragging down the energy, if they're truly dragging down the energy, sometimes it's a judgment. Sometimes there are things we need to embrace again, right? We need to embrace those things. But sometimes it's like, they're just toxic energy. They're not being productive. They're not helping us with our purpose in our life. And we have to remove or extricate ourselves from that. When it's family members, I always say start with reducing the amount of time. Even with friends, if you got close friends that have become toxic, you just know you're not supposed to hang out with them as much anymore. Just start hanging out with them less. Focus on the people that you want to be hanging out with. You want to hang out with that which you want to become, right? So like you want to hang out with that which you want to become. So the more you hang out with that energy in the form of people, for example, or energy overall, books, information, etc., the higher vibration you'll get. one of the worst things we can do these days, and we've all been guilty of it, so to speak, but is online there's so much trash out there, right? So much trash talking out of social media, etc. We have to clean that stuff up. I just take people, if I'm going to, I try to minimize some of my social media time because I just find it's just crazy, right? So, and then I try to keep myself just with high vibrational posts, like the, higher vibrational posts. And I try to keep the other stuff minimal, and anyway, so those are different things you can do. Take care of your body, get exercise. What I talk a lot about is like utilizing all the different tools we can, whether it be like spiritual tools, like meditating and praying, or mental tools, doing affirmations and having good thoughts. Then we have like emotional tools, like having a good support network, people that really do uplift you, that don't just agree with your story and say, yeah, you're a victim, that only feels good temporarily, and then we're still stuck with our problem. But like getting emotional support, whatever helps you with that, journaling, just sharing what's going on for you. And then physical tools. So, making sure you take care of your body. Like you said, eating higher vibrational foods. You don't have to be perfect. So that's another problem. Oh, I gotta eat perfect food. My God, they told me that this leaf isn't organic. This one was bad. This one thing, or what I mean? Like by Friday, you won't eat anything. You'll do what they call the starlight diet, and then they'll say, no, the energy and the light is actually not pure either. Listen, people, we're not in some pristine environment. We're in the mud. We're in the earth. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There always has been, always will be. So yes, we want to be mindful of eating higher vibrational foods. Yes, the pineapple picked right off, the tree right in the backyard, it's going to be much higher vibrational than something that, than food that's being manufactured, GMO, right? And it's like shipped across the world, obviously, right? So where it's obvious, make better choices. That's all. People, I think myself included, I'm just talking to myself sometimes, right? We get too crazy with this stuff, and then it's like it's never good enough, right? It's like that's an issue too. It's like, no, you just make better choices. That's all. And when you do that, you're going to take your vibration on a much higher level. Number one thing is your orientation towards life, that your mindset, your orientation towards life. And the best ways, I think they're kind of the same, kind of different, but your orientation, your mindset towards life makes the biggest difference beyond all those other things, but all those other things are important too.
So where can people find out more about what you do, Daniel?
Yeah, yes, they can go to www.yoursacredpurpose.com. And again, there we'll have something for you. It depends on when you go to look. We will either have a live call coming up or a recording that will take you another step into all this. And that's where they can check me out.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you for coming on again this week, Daniel. It's been a pleasure.
Always enlightening to talk to you, Dan. We'll have you on again for sure.
Excellent. And so we do want to let our listeners know that if you ever feel like things did not necessarily get that easy for you just because you went on a spiritual path, don't worry, you're in good company, because we all go through those growth changes. So you just need to keep on carrying on and look within for that guidance. So if you want to learn more about what Catherine and I do, you can go to intuitiveschool.com and also continue this discussion with us on Facebook at Spirits Journey Radio. Goodbye for now.
Have a great week, everyone.
Oneness Talk Radio. Hip, fresh, and fun. Discover your positivity portal 24/7 and experience unique talk radio from around the planet, perfectly mixed with music that enchants your soul. At a moment where everyone is being challenged to stay awake and release fear, OneNessTalkRadio.com is here to remind us all of our divine mastery. Imagine the activating power of intentional oneness and universal healing available at any time, with shows in multiple languages messages and formats, relax and explore. Our commitment to uplifting music from superstars and fresh talent, combined with your favorite shows, will inspire you to stay all day and soak in the gift of connection. Once you experience our signature Oneness moment, in only 3 to 5 minutes, your heart will expand as miracles unfold. OnenessTalkRadio.com. One world, one voice. Expand your vision.
Through the allness, you discovered oneness. Welcome home.